Jessie B. Scrapbooking back with another process video, and today I'm doing these two pictures of when my son helped my nephew pack out his elk. And I made this like background that I cut up for another layout a couple days ago. And I'm going to fussy cut these leaves out and then use this paper pad here for my background, and it has a whole bunch of fun papers in it. My daughter bought this for me for Mother's Day at Hobby Lobby, and I absolutely love it. It's a perfect size for doing these 6x6 paper pad classes that I'm doing with Scrapbook Generation. Allison Davis is doing the classes, and I can't show you the sketch I'm using because it's paid material, but yeah, it requires different little pieces of paper, and that's what I'm going to use. So let's get started. So I just jumped straight into fussy cutting some of these leaves that I had stamped out a couple days ago, and they work perfect for fussy cutting. I actually only cut out the ones that I had watercolored, and I'm only showing you one here, and because it's all the same, fussy cutting is the leaves would get really boring to watch because I do quite a few of them, see? And so I have them all here, and then I are going to start in on trimming my pictures down. And these pictures are, this one here is one that my son took of my nephew walking out with the bull on his back. And then the other one is a selfie my son took of them headed down the mountain with, my son had meat, Pastor Brian had meat, and my nephew, little Brian, had the elk head and antlers. So yeah, it was an all-day thing after they got the elk, and I'll have the video of the elk hunt linked in the comments below if you're interested in watching it. So this picture here of my nephew is just a really cool shot that my son got, so I wanted to make sure I had it in our family album. I backed both pictures with some brown cardstock, and now I'm just going through, and I picked out these papers a little bit before off camera, and so I just had them sitting there on top. And these papers give me a little bit of problems because, well, I love this paper pad, so I'm having a hard time just using it and using up and covering up everything. So I am going to gut everything. And yeah, so here I am gutting, or marking out where I'm going to gut the green piece of paper. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this. It looks like a stone. I would like, yeah, that's what I'm going to call it, like a stone paper, like a rock or something. So, and this works out really well because I actually end up using bits and pieces of these papers that I cut here someplace else on the layout. So it was actually very handy to have a little extra pieces. And then this paper, I also end up cutting, but I don't gut it necessarily, but I do cut it and stretch it. And you'll see that here in a second. Because I felt like I was just covering up too much of the little fern leaves, fern boughs, and you couldn't really see what it was, and so I wanted to bring some of those down below the picture too. So That's what I'm going to do here. I figured I got tired of it moving around on me, so I'm just going to commit and glue these ones down. And this one, I glued it too high or taped it down too high. And so it isn't until almost the very end that I realized I put it in the wrong spot. And by then it was too late. So I do fix it, but it's in a little bit different. I fix it a little differently than I would have intended to. So this is where I'm stretching that paper, and I really like the way it looks with the white paper all the way around the pictures. And that paper does not line up right there at all, but I'm not going to worry about it. I figured it's fine. But see how there's no, that stone paper is just like totally lost. And I don't know how I didn't notice that, but doing this voiceover, and when I was editing it, it really was bugging me. But I do fix it at the very end. So this is my not so fun foam. It's just a big, huge honkin' foam that I got at Walmart. It has no sticky on either side, but it still works the exact same way as the fun foam. So I am just putting it down to pop up this one picture with the three of them, the selfie, and just to give it a little bit more interest. And the sketch that I'm working on actually called for 3 photos on a 12 by 12. So I have cut it down to 2 photos because I'm only working on an 8.5 by 11. But it does leave a lot of space at the top and bottom, and you'll see that I fill that space in too, which is not in the sketch. So I pulled out this foam roll of double-sided foam from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to pop up a couple of the leaves that I had fussy cut out and put them in different spots. On the sketch, she had 4 like little cluster spots. I think she used hearts on hers. So I'm going to use the leaves and in the same general area as her spots of cluster spots were. And normally I probably would have just done 3, but I like the way it looks with the 4th um, cluster. So I'm glad I followed the sketch. And I don't pop up all the leaves. I think I only pop up 1 or 2 in each cluster. And then the other one and I hear it down flat with my ATG gun. Yeah, probably could have cut some of this out for you guys. I don't think you care about me taping everything down. This leaf here that I just put down, I actually end up moving right before I take the pictures. And you'll see that at the end in the close-ups. It does not stay up there on the picture, but it stays pretty close to that same spot. I just drop it down a little bit. Yep, and I tried to get one of each of the colors and one of the different leaves in each spot, so it's not the exact same leaves everywhere or the same color next to each other or anything. So she had stitching around her blocks of paper here, and I do stitching on or I have in the past done stitching on layouts, and I really love the way it looks. but it is really hard for me to dig out my sewing machine and get it all set up and um, do any kind of stitching on my layouts because I craft at my kitchen table and or my dining room table, and yeah, it's just it's a very small table, and I always have to move everything to get the sewing machine out, and I have to move everything anyway every time we eat dinner. So I was like, nah, fake fake stitches are fine, and I do really like the way that they look on this. Um, I'm glad I did add them in, even though they are faux stitching. They still look, just kind of give it that little extra bit to look at, and I like that. So here's where I am deciding that it is just way too um, plain on the top and the bottom. So this is not in the sketch, but I really like the way that it looks. I'm just going to add a little bit of the stone paper and a little bit of the green paper at the top and the bottom, just to kind of um, even out the layout. I think it looks really good this way. It was, yeah, it was just too much blank space for me. So I'm keeping it very central, and so I just kind of stays to the um, pictures in the center, but it just kind of reins it in and keeps it from, I don't know, feeling like it's floating out in the middle of nowhere. I grabbed my little word phrases from Tim Holtz, and I'm going to add three of them right here at the top, two in the black and one in the white. And yeah, I can't remember what it says. And I don't have the layout right here. It says something about adventure awaits, so don't, or something like that. Anyways, I do have close-ups of it at the end, but there's supposed to be like little journaling strips there, and I'm really bad about journaling, so I am filling them in this way. So my title, I'm going to use these rub-ons, and um, I'm going to put it in the same spot she had her title, and I'm trying to keep it a little bit of a longer title. So I'm titling it Discover the Journey. And this was a journey. They hiked way up on the mountain to get this, and it was my nephew's very first um, elk of any kind. And yeah, he was just so excited. He's only 15, just turned 15. Um, so maybe he was 14 when he shot. Yeah, he was 14. Hadn't had his birthday yet. So he was extremely excited, and my son was very happy to be able to guide him up there and get him on it, and yeah, it was super cool. So it was a journey, and he's hooked. So I am deciding to add a little bit of sparkle, and I grabbed these sequins. They're kind of like a brown almost color, not quite yellow gold. There's more of a brown gold, and I really like them for fall um, layouts and stuff. They work perfect. And so I'm adding about 3 sequins per each of the little clusters. And I just put glue onto the scrap paper there, and then I'm using this little tool. It has a big um, ball on one side and a tiny ball on the other, and I picked it up at the Dollar Tree, and I put just a little bit of glue on the big side or on the little side, and that's why I pick up my sequences, just a tiny little drop. And then the other side is what I pick up the glue with and dab it down. And so it works really good for picking up and laying down the sequins right where I want them. I decided to add a little bit of, oh, this is where I fix that stone that doesn't poke out, because yeah, it was driving me crazy. And as I've already glued everything down, including the sequins, I am just going to fake it here and pretend like it comes down further than it actually does. But see that line there at my finger where the two, yeah, I'm touching it there, trying to decide where I'm going to pull that leaf off of the top picture there, and I'm going to bring it down and cover that join. And it works really well, but I don't think to do that until after I am taking pictures of the layout. Here's where I decided to add just a little bit more of the faux stitching on the top and bottom of each of the pieces here. I'm making it look like the stitching kind of goes off the layout there. And then I decided to bring in a couple more of the fussy cut leaves, and just so that these bars at the top and bottom kind of match. And then I am going to come back in with a couple sequins for each of these little clusters too. So I ended up actually with, I guess, 6 clusters total in this one, but these ones are a lot smaller. And yeah, I thought I was just going to do the leaves, but then I realized that it needed the sequins too. So there we go. I've got all these done. I do put 3 in each one. And there. Hope you like my layout. That's all of it. And if you like it, please give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye.